Alright, so here's the new Active Edge functionality that is built into the Google Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL. Basically, when you squeeze your phone on the sides, when you physically squeeze your phone from both sides, it brings up the Google Assistant as I just showcased. So I'm squeezing it right now. Hey, how's the weather in New York right now?
Currently in New York City, it's 71 and sunny. Today, it'll be clear with a forecasted high of 71 and a low of 58.
So as you saw, I just squeezed it up, it came right up, and I was able to talk to it right away. So I think this is a great functionality that is built into these new phones. And in this video, I'm going to tell you guys everything you need to know about the Active Edge display in the Google Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL. Let's dive in. Now the first thing I need you to understand is that the squeeze functionality is built to the bottom half of the phone. So if you squeeze up here from both sides, it's not going to work, and that makes sense because over here you have the power button and the volume rocker, and you'll be pressing those by mistake. So what they did was they built the functionality to the bottom half of the phone, so when you squeeze the bottom, that's when it brings up the Google Assistant. So if I squeeze right here, nothing's going to happen. If I squeeze here, nothing's going to happen, and I'll probably click the buttons by mistake. But if I squeeze down here, that's when it's going to bring up the Google Assistant. All this makes sense. And the next thing I want to talk about is how you can go into the settings and you can actually disable the Active Edge, or you can modify it and customize it if you so desire. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to the settings right over here, and then you want to scroll all the way down and go into the system, and then tap on language input and gestures, and then click advanced. That's a long process to get in there, and go to Active Edge right here. You tap this and you get access to all the Active Edge functions. Now if you don't want to do all this digging in, you can do this way. You can just go here. You can go to the settings. You can go to the search and just type in Active Edge, and that's going to bring you to the Active Edge functionality screen. And from here, this is all the options you have to customize and modify the Active Edge screen. So first and foremost, Squeeze for Assistant is what I just did in the beginning of this video. You can simply disable that, and now it's not going to work anymore. All right. The other thing you can do is you can actually allow your phone to use Google Assistant even when the screen is off by squeezing the phone. But there's some limitations to this I'm going to show you in a minute. Another great feature is when somebody is actually calling you, you can squeeze to silence that phone call. Okay. All right. So let me call myself from my other phone and let me demonstrate the squeeze to silence functionality just so you guys know and see how it works. Alright, so I'm calling myself right now, and as you can see, my phone is going to start to ring in a second. There it is. And then I squeezed my phone and it's now silenced. Fantastic. Now notice it doesn't decline the call or answer the call. It simply silences the actual ringtone. So far, these are the only three options you can enable or disable for the Active Edge functionality. And of course, the question is Google going to add more functions in the future? We don't know yet, but they may. Just understand that it makes sense that when you squeeze, the assistant comes up, and then using the assistant, you can do anything that you would normally do, such as making a phone call, sending a text message, or just getting up-to-date information from Google servers, such as directions and hours for businesses. And one more thing, when somebody is calling you and you squeeze, it's going to silence that phone call. But in every other scenario, when the phone is not ringing, when you squeeze, it's going to bring up Google Assistant. And if you look on the top here, it says squeeze sensitivity. Basically, this is going to allow you to change the sensitivity of your squeeze. So if you really want to lightly squeeze and still bring up Google Assistant, you can do it like this. Or you can really do a firm squeeze. So it's really hard to bring up Google Assistant by mistake. Now I noticed that I like mine in the middle, and I just want to let you know that Google has actually figured out a way to make sure they can discern between accidental squeezes and intentional squeezes. So I wouldn't worry about that too much to control mistakes. I would worry about this mostly based on if you want to bring up Google Assistant with a light squeeze or a firm squeeze. And of course, when you're in the screen and when you have picked up your squeeze sensitivity, you can come here and you can check and you can get a feedback to see how it's going to work. When you squeeze your phone here, it's not going to launch Google Assistant. Your phone knows that you're in the settings and that you're modifying them and tweaking them, so it's not going to launch the Google Assistant right here. It's just going to allow you to test drive the intensity that you set. Now, if you look at the option where it says allow when screen is off, right now I have a PIN number on my phone. So I'm going to turn off the phone. I'm going to squeeze the phone. It's going to bring up the Google Assistant. And I want you guys to observe what happens when you actually have a PIN number or a fingerprint sensor enabled. All right, so let's squeeze the phone. What's the weather like in New York right now? Boom. As you can see, because we have a PIN number or a fingerprint sensor, it is locked. So I'm going to unlock it. And then it's going to actually start to work. So just be aware of that. If you just want to squeeze and start using Google Assistant with a PIN number or a fingerprint enabled, it's not going to work. If you do want that functionality, simply disable your security options as long as you think you're going to be fine. So that's how it works when the screen is actually turned off. And honestly, for now, that's all you need to know about the Active Edge functionality. That's all there is to it. You squeeze it up to bring up the Google Assistant, and then you can use the Assistant to get answers. And like I said, I hope in the future Google adds some more updates, some more functionality to this squeeze function, because it is a really nice function and a little bit customization does not hurt. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. Make sure you subscribe to SAKITECH for more videos to come. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. And if you do use Instagram and Twitter, make sure to follow me at SAKITECH Online. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just drop them down below and we will try to answer them. Guys, have a fantastic day.